Morning, guys. I'm Bastian. I'm French, so don't mind my accent. I've learned English. English is not my first language. I'm in sales. I'm a sales. I started as a setter. I then became a closer. And after being a closer, I became a head of sales. But that hasn't always been the case. Because I learned that. I learned these kind of skills that I didn't have before. I started my business, of course, making no money, very low money. And now you see me driving Lambo. But of course, that doesn't reflect much because you need some context. Entrepreneurship has always been part of my life because my parents are both entrepreneurs in different sectors. I always knew I wanted to start my own business. And that's actually pretty funny because I'm here. It's 6:01 in the morning. I didn't sleep at all tonight because, well, I'm 24. In 2 days, I'm turning 25. And I was at the restaurant with my friend yesterday evening to celebrate one of my other friends' birthday. And when I came back home, I just had too many ideas that I had to organize, that I had to talk about. So I couldn't sleep. So I thought, well, maybe that's a good idea to do my first ever YouTube video on a sunrise in a Lambo, in a Huracan. You know what's funny? My dream when I was probably 10, 12 or 14, to sell Lamborghinis. I wanted to sell cars. I wanted to be a salesman. So I've always known that I wanted to be in sales. But I thought before that I wanted to sell Lamborghinis, and now I'm driving one while I'm turning 25 in 2 days. So that's insane. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that. I'm very grateful. Life has been treating me well lately because of hard work, dedication, as it always does. So yeah, I've been studying like most of the people, of course, been in my bachelor's degree. And I was really wondering, what should I do? I really didn't know what to do. I think what most of the people lack in our world, in our life, currently, most of the people are just influenced by their friends, their family, the society in general. And that's been the case for me. I've been raised in France, and I understood after traveling a bit that the French mindset was not for me at all. Because the French mindsets really hold you back from trying new stuff because there is a lot of judgment, there's a lot of naysayers. That's very tough to evolve in the French market and to create and launch a business in the French market. So that's why when I was 20, I decided to live abroad. My first experience abroad was during my bachelor's degree, during the last year of my bachelor's degree. I went to Latvia for a year. The eastern part of Europe is insane. That's in my heart right now. But the big shift has been when I left to Australia. So when I came back from Latvia, I decided to go to Australia and to go by myself so far away because I wanted to travel, I wanted to discover. I wanted to discover myself. Why did I want to do that? Very easy. One of my mentors, David, who's gonna recognize himself if he sees this video, always told me when I was in Australia working with him, the problem with the current system is that people today, in today's world, try to teach you that you need to know what you want to do in life. Why that's completely wrong. You need to discover who you want to be. And by knowing where you are right now and knowing where you want to go, you're just building this gap with your life experiences, with struggles, with ups and downs, with loneliness. You need loneliness to create clarity because you've been influenced so far. And you really don't know how much you've been influenced until you leave your place and go somewhere else. Honestly, I'm telling you guys, my life has drastically changed when I understood how important it was to leave from my hometown, going to either another city or another country, or of course doing both matches. But that's crucial, that's essential. So you gotta be able to do that, because living abroad, going somewhere else, has been my biggest shift ever, because you are able to build a version of yourself that the people around you in your circle, in your hometown, wouldn't let you become if you would stay there. And that's what's been a big shift. So yeah, after being in Australia for 2 years, I've learned a lot on myself. I've learned the things I didn't know I knew. I discovered things I didn't know that I didn't know. And I thought I was capable of doing some stuff that I ended up not knowing what to do and how to do it. And I also discovered that I didn't know that I knew how to do some stuff that I didn't know. And that's very interesting. The unknown unknowns. There's some things that you know that you know. There's some things that you know that you don't know. But there's also some things that you don't know that you know. And there's some things that you don't know that you don't know. And you gotta be able to discover them. And that's life. And discovering myself has been through this kind of stuff. Through traveling, going somewhere else. And that's why in business, a lot of entrepreneurs say it out loud. You gotta go somewhere else. You gotta leave your hometown. Because most of the people around you just hold you back from where you could become, basically. I've understood the power of network when I started creating the one I deserved. Honestly. That's the thing. I left to Australia after my bachelor's degree. I left to Australia and that's when I started sales. I started sales and doing door to door. I think that you get my English, of course, but I've got a pretty strong accent because I'm French. But I knew doing door to door in Australia would be a challenge, and I just didn't care at all. Because that's the problem in life. Most of the people avoid the obstacles, while in reality, the truth is, you gotta be seeking for obstacles, because that's the obstacles that make you stronger, that develop yourself. That's what you gotta be aiming for. You gotta be aiming for hardships. You gotta be aiming for obstacles. You gotta be aiming for discipline. You gotta be tough. Business is tough. Business is war. You gotta create a stronger version of yourself. And you can't pray for easier times. You should be working on yourself to be then willing to face the adversity and to be ready when the adversity is gonna come. Because hard times are gonna come. One day, you're gonna have a cancer. One day, you're gonna have someone in your close circle who's gonna have a disease, maybe. You're gonna have hardships. So you should really seek for what's tough in your life. And that's why I chose the challenge of door-to-door selling in Australia. So I was selling solar, for the context. I was selling solar panels, door-to-door, knocking to 100 doors a day. And I always knew that I wanted to sell. You see, I told earlier that when I was 10, 12, 14, I knew I wanted to be in sales. Because when I was 10, 12, 14, I knew I wanted to sell Lamborghinis. So that was sales. Selling was always in my brain. So yeah, after selling solar in Australia, I came back in Europe without being in France. I knew I didn't want to be living in France. I came back to Switzerland and I was selling security systems in Switzerland. So I was selling alarms, video surveillance to people, B2C and B2B businesses. And I thought I would settle down in Switzerland. I thought I needed more stability. I thought I would stay like 2 to 5 years. And actually I stayed just 6 months because I couldn't keep my job. Because I was just living from Saturday to Sunday, doing hikes. But Monday to Friday, I was just surviving, man. I was just surviving. I was in a golden prison, earning some good money when I was 20, 21. I was actually 23 when I was in Switzerland. So I was young and I was making good money for an employed young guy, but I was not free at all. And that's when I understood the importance of freedom. Freedom above money. After Switzerland, I created my business and I first became a satyr. I've been a satyr for like 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I turned into a closer because that was the aim for me. I wanted to be a closer when I got into high ticket sales. But I knew I had to do step by step. So I wanted to start by doing some setting. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done, and that taught me a lot. And then from a satyr to a closer and a closer to a head of sales. But the thing is, I didn't always know what I had to do as a head of sales, because as a closer, you don't have the process, you don't have the systems, you don't have the strategies, you don't have the vision, you don't have anything basically. I mean, you don't have anything, but you're just working on the operational side of the business. So I really wanted to get a mentor on how to become a head of sales. So my wallet was open. I was ready to spend like 5, 10, maybe even 15K to get mentored on becoming a head of sales. But the problem is, on the French market, as well as on the UK and on the US market, there's actually not a lot of head of sales. Head of sales, sales managers is kind of a hidden niche, you know? And that was tough for me. I went to the biggest sales managers in France, even in the States. But the thing is, nobody was mentoring one-to-one like I wanted as a sales manager. And that was the problem. Because I really wanted to invest, but I just couldn't because I was not finding anyone. So I said, you know what? I can't find this person who's gonna mentor me to become a head of sales. So I'm gonna become the person I'm looking for. So I've brainstormed a lot. I took a lot of information on the markets, free, paying some, getting info, and also mostly experience. Experience because as a closer, you know how to close deals, but basically you don't have the vision. You don't know how to handle the recruitment. You don't know how to do an onboarding. You don't know how to do an offboarding. You don't know how to coach. You don't know how to manage. You don't know the KPIs, the data, and how to link them to the marketing. You don't know this kind of stuff as a closer. So that's why I decided to have way more leverage and become a sales manager. Now I've got 3 teams. As a closer, I've been able to earn good money. My best month so far as a closer has been 16K. I've collected a bit more than 110,000 euros. That was in January. And I was at this month in January, my biggest month in commission, that I really understood that that was a golden cage as well. I wasn't free at all. And I was just selling my time. I was just a freelance. I was just an employee with slightly more freedom, basically. So now I've got way more leverage. And that's actually why I'm now able to travel more, to take more time for myself. For sports, I train 7 days a week, going to church, enjoying with my friends, with my family. I couldn't do that as a closer. So I've been a closer for 1 year. I've scaled my ecosystem, the first ecosystem I've been in, from 15K a month to 150K a month. So I've 10x'd his business in 1 year. And that's been great. That's been a fantastic experience. But yeah, I knew I wanted more. So you should be seeking for more. And I'm not saying that business is for everybody. Business is absolutely not for everybody. People say that everybody can be an entrepreneur. And I don't think that everybody can be an entrepreneur. I think that anybody can be an entrepreneur. But that doesn't mean that everybody can be one. That's why it's so scarce. Probably 1 to 5% of the people of the population are entrepreneurs right now. Because 95% of the people are just afraid to take risks, to change their life drastically. Most of the people are afraid to do it. I was not this kind of person. One of my motto actually is, what's life without risks? What's life without risks? You got the answer. You gotta think this way all the time. When you are in your comfort zone, you should ask yourself, why the fuck am I in my comfort zone? You should ask yourself, well, if I'm in my comfort, what can I do to get out of it every single day? As an example, every single day I drink coffee. I don't like coffee. Every single day I eat a banana in the morning with oats and everything. I don't like banana, but I know that's good for my body. Every single day when I started, I hated cold showers. Now it's been 4 years that I take cold showers in the morning, and now I just love it. I just love the game. You usually need 21 days to make this kind of new stuff or habits. So you should just switch off your brain, don't think too much, and for 21 days, implement new habits, try new stuff, get out of your comfort zone, and that's what's gonna take you to next level. And I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. You know what wakes me up in the morning? Well, first, of course, what I wanna achieve for my parents, for myself, for my faith, the sports I wanna do, my sister, my friends, of course. But you know why I'm waking up every single morning? Because every single morning I'm telling to myself, do I have to choose between the pain of hard work, dedication, discipline, or you're gonna get the pain of regrets? What do you rather? The pain of hard work or the pain of regrets? Because if you don't do the work, the hard work, you're gonna get the regrets in 30, 40, 50 years. Otherwise, you can choose to work hard every single day for a better future. For you, for yourself, for your family, for your kids. You leave a heritage, man. Not financially wise. I want my name to be remembered. And I can't have my name to be remembered if I'm not working every single day on a daily basis, early morning, late nights. I'm just outperforming most of the people here. And that's how you should think. What people don't do, you should do it. Always, all the time. And remember that. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life in the long term. And that's also what drives me. You're gonna understand some stuff and your life is gonna drastically change when you will understand the power of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, patience, and I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. Because you get dopamine every single day, notifications, social networks, everywhere. But the few people who are able to delay gratification choose to prioritize their future over their present self. And I think that's the best definition of discipline. Discipline is knowing that you choose the best choices for your future and to struggle now, to put your head down. Don't listen too much to your heart, to your brain. Discipline is the best version of self-love, actually. That's the best version of self-love. You know why? Because it's prioritizing who you're gonna become over who you are right now. So choose your pain. You're gonna be choosing your pain. Choose your pain. Always. Always, always, always. Constantly. Complacency kills. Play better. See? There is this kind of stuff here. The Burj Khalifa. The Burj Khalifa has been erected. It's been erected by someone who outperformed someone else. Because that's the tallest building in the world. And I really value this kind of aspect of Dubai. Well, first, this guy is mad. This car is fucking mad. I love this car. As much as I love this game, I love it. I love it. I love working 7 days a week. I love the struggles. I love the hardships. I love seeing that I'm wrong every single day. I love it. And that's what happens. You gotta be able to question yourself and constantly strive. Complacency kills. Play better. I really wish you the best. I really wish you to listen to these words, because that's been the stuff that I needed to listen to. That's been the stuff that I needed to hear to become who I've become now. And yet I still didn't do anything. To me, I still didn't achieve anything. That's what makes me a better human being every single day. So yeah, remember that. Remember that. What's life without risks? Complacency kills, so you should play better. Delay gratification. You gotta see it. You gotta have the vision. Wish you the best. I really wish you God to be with you. No matter if you're a believer or not, I really wish you the family, the friends to support you, but I know that's gonna be tough. So during hard times, you're just gonna be by yourself, surrounded by God. And that's what helped me out well. Peace.